kid. I mean, he just came up.
I was gonna give a quick, yes, I'm running the meeting, no, I was gonna give a quick debrief of the microphones. Hello, everyone, commissioners, public, can we please start the meeting? Hello? Hello? All right, can we start the meeting, please? Before we really get going, I'd like to turn the mic over to Taylor. She has an announcement.
Thank you. This is week 2, or meeting 2, I should say, introducing our new audio-visual system. So we introduced the mics last week. Just a quick overview with those. If they're in the red position, that means you are muted both in the room and on the stream. Right now, mine is showing as green, which means I'm ample in the room, and the stream is also picking up this audio. All right? The second I go to mute here with red, this stream is not going to pick up my voice whatsoever. So if you want to say something or if we're voting, I suggest going green so that the people online can hear you. Any questions about the mics? Nope, cool. And then in terms of the stream, we are running 2 tonight. Our live stream is going to be using our old system, and then we are running a second test stream with the new cameras to get transitions down and just make sure everything's looking how it needs to look before we go live with it next meeting. Any questions?
Sounds good.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you. All right. I have a couple announcements for those watching tonight's meeting virtually. The meeting is available by live stream on the Park District website. All information about Park District meetings can be found at winpark.org under the Park District Info tab by selecting board meetings and videos. Public comments are accepted in person. A link to the video and audio will be posted immediately following this evening's meeting. To improve the sound while listening to the meeting, please turn up the volume on your computer and turn up the volume on the website. The meeting packet for tonight's meeting is located on the website. For those attending the meeting in person tonight, the emergency exits from the room are at the door behind you and also through the foyer. To improve the quality of sound, there's a boom microphone. Is the boom microphone still there?
Yep.
All right. Directed toward the commissioners. The microphone likely will pick up additional audience noise and sidebar conversations. If you're predisposed to not hearing well, please move to the front row seat or request our on-site staff for an assistant device for accommodation, as an accommodation. The board asks for your cooperation to maintain decorum. We are a community coming together to discuss difficult issues in a civil and respectful fashion. I'd like to welcome everyone to the October 9, 2025 Winnetka Park District Board of Commissioners special meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:02 and ask Lynn to take a roll call of attendance.
Commissioner Kodo.
Here.
Commissioner Corley.
He's actually,
Okay.
yeah.
Commissioner Rapp.
Here.
Commissioner Root.
Here.
Commissioner Seaman.
I'm here.
Commissioner Tyson.
Here.
And Commissioner Gibson.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Wonderful. At this time, I'd like to ask those who can to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, tonight for public announcements, we have some upcoming events, including our family campfire, which is tomorrow, the 10th, and then Pumpkins in the Woods on the 24th. We look forward to seeing everyone out at these great community events. We'd also like to thank the Laidley family for their generous donation of the scoreboard, the new scoreboard here at Skokie Playfield in honor of Luke Laidley. The dedication last week was very special, and we know that the community will enjoy this lasting gift for a very long time. Also, I would like to welcome Saba Koya, who is our new Administrative Operations Coordinator, and we are so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, at this point, I'd like to ask if there are any requests for changes or additions to the agenda. I'd like to make one. I'd like to have a motion to amend the agenda of tonight's meeting to move commissioner comments to section 6 or after section 6 of the agenda. So moved.
Can we put the agenda section 6 on?
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Yes. I'm going to object to that. I think that there is a need for commissioners' comments before you intend to go into executive session.
Okay. Anyone else have comments?
We have it in both places.
I don't think that makes sense. All right, we can, if you want to make a motion for that, we can. All right, can we do a vote, a roll call vote, please?
Okay, Commissioner Kodo,
Yes, move it to after closed session.
Commissioner Rapp,
No.
Commissioner Root,
Absolutely no.
Commissioner Seaman,
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gibson.
Yes.
That motion passes.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to invite the public up for comment. This is your opportunity to address the board on any issue. When called upon, come to the center position in front of the commissioners and stand at the podium. Speak into the microphone and state your name for the record and speak directly to the board. Based on the public comment policy described in the board policy manual and referenced in Public Access Counselor Opinion 2024 PAC 81900, guests may present public comment for no longer than 3 minutes after being recognized. If you prefer to share your comments in writing this evening, you may do so by leaving your comment with a member of the Park District staff. Do we have anyone who wishes to make public comment? No. All right. Thank you. As we move through tonight's agenda, I'd like to ask commissioners to keep comments to 3 minutes per item with 1 opportunity to speak on each item. If there are matters that require additional follow-up from staff and cannot be addressed immediately, those items may be tabled by a majority board vote to a future meeting. It's important that we respect the time of our community, staff, and fellow commissioners while ensuring our discussions stay focused on board-level decisions that best serve the community. At this time, I'd like to ask presentations on the fiscal year 2026 to start. And Mr. Crocker, would you like to start it off?
Thank you, Commissioner Gibson. Sorry, I had to turn the mic up a little bit. As you all know, this is the second of 3 meetings we're going to have this year regarding our 2026 proposed budget. We break it into 3 components to make it more digestible to both the board and to the public. Tonight we're going to be talking about the enterprise funds and our recreation fund. We will start with golf and then move to tennis, ice, paddle, and finally recreation. After this, the next meeting on October 23rd, we will discuss the corporate fund and the non-operating funds. Then we move into the November meetings where we will discuss the tax levy ordinance. And eventually we will vote, ideally vote on a 2026 budget and appropriation ordinance at the December 18th regular board meeting. At this point, what I will do is turn the mic over to our representatives from Kemper Sports, Vince Miles, to discuss the 2026 proposed golf budget.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. So 2026 budget, just go right into it.
Try again? Never mind.
No?
Give it a go.
Hey, there we go. So,
Okay, I'm sorry, 1 second. The commissioner's asking a question.
Were these presentations revised from the ones that we have seen
In
previously?
pre-board?
Yes.
I don't know.
no,
Okay, good to know.
as is.
Just in general, on all of the presentations, they are the same as what the public has received. Some commissioners did have individual meetings prior to that being provided to the board, so there may have been some minor adjustments, but there is nothing changed since the board has seen it in draft and the public has seen it.
Yeah, so 2026 golf budget. Again, the story is no fund transfer. For 2026, we are projecting a fund transfer. 2025, I gotta lead off with the good part. So 2026, budgeting an increase in really every revenue line. So increase in greens fees and carts, that is going to come largely through user fee increases as approved last month. Range, as we've seen the range continue to trend up, and then just a really moderate increase there to be in line with the increase in golf ball pricing. And then food and beverage revenue, so again, increase in food and beverage revenue. And so that ties into some of the payroll increases that we propose as well. And so bringing total revenue to $3.259 million. For 2025 projections, the original projections that we had were 2.7. That's going to be closer to 3. These projections were started in late June. At that point, weather hadn't cooperated very much. So since that point, weather has been great for golf. So that will end up being closer to the $3 million mark. So increases on every line in revenue for next year. Cost of sales increase, that is due to the increase in food and beverage and merchandise sales for next year. Doing more fitting days and things like that on the merchandise side. Those COGS percentages are still in line with what we were doing this year and historically. Payroll, so increase in payroll, the two kind of biggest departments is course and grounds. So as we continue to mature with our golf course and continue to strive to achieve the conditions that our residents expect, we are planning on adding 2 staff members to the course and grounds side, a full-time seasonal employee and then a salaried assistant superintendent. And then also a salaried food and beverage manager to allow us to continue to elevate and improve that food and beverage experience. That's something that's important to the golfers and residents. So having that person on staff, that's their sole focus, will be really important for us next year. And then operating expenses, a large chunk of that is going to be course and grounds again, with just general maintenance items. We've seen increases in fertilizer and chem pricing. And then, so EBITDA budgeting next year for $590,000 EBITDA. We are budgeting an increase of rounds. We are seeing a little bit more of an increase in demand here lately. And then we will be pushing the par 3 a little bit, developing some programming around the par 3 to take advantage of some of our more underutilized times from this year. And then the management fee and incentive line. So the management fee increase per the contract just based off the CPI, and then the incentive, again, based off of the total revenue. So those are set numbers there. And then we are proposing $206,000 in capital expenditures for 2026 that we discussed on the next slide, bringing us to a net operating income of $228,000 and change. So again, no fund balance transfer through the year. Any questions that I can answer on 2026?
Exciting, no transfer.
Yes.
Commissioners, do you have any questions? No?
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I'm glad you're running our golf course, our golf business. And I would just say, I want to make sure that, I'm not saying this isn't happening, I just want to make sure that Kemper and the Park District are communicating. If there are issues, that we communicate, because I'm glad you're here. Like I said, when I go over here, it's always busy. I love it. I just want to thank you for a wonderful 2025.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here. Anything else on 2026? Okay. So going into the proposed capital, so through the process, we kind of really looked at what our needs are. And so first item is utility carts for our maintenance staff. So this would cover 4 new utility cards, Workman utility cards. And as we're continuing to grow our maintenance staff, we're actually short parts this season. So this is actually an immediate need for us. So adding those 4 will improve operations, allow them to get around a little bit easier and save some time. Verticutting reels, so these are reels that attach to our existing greens mowers. It's not a piece of equipment, it's just an attachment. That'll allow us to verticut the greens, which removes thatch, improves plant conditions, and moisture retention, and turf health overall. Dining room furniture, so replacing the dining room furniture that's in our bar area with newer, more modern options. And then water management, so this is our biggest one. During the 2025 budget process, we are actually still in the middle of replacing one of our 2 pumps that we have on the pond on 17. So the water on the golf course basically all runs through the pond that is on our 17th hole, and from there we are able to remove the water off of our property. So we have 2 pumps that are able to pump water off the property. So in the event of a very heavy rainfall, to help us get rid of that water if we start to flood. There are 2 pumps there. One of them has been replaced or is in the process of being replaced this year. It was not functional for a couple seasons. The other pump is old and needs to be replaced. So we have those backups, so we're not left with one that could fail. We would also be replacing the control panel for that as well. So, and then the next item on there is seal coating the parking lot. 10,000 of the 18 is part of the overall bigger project for the entire facility here. That is our share, and then the additional 8,000 is to get the areas that are around the clubhouse all the way to the car barn, which those areas weren't done during the renovation process. And our last item is just new range mats. So range mats on our driving range, as we've talked about, is a very busy driving range, and the range mats are just getting more. So just to improve that experience for them. Any questions?
I have a question about
Yes.
the replacement of the pump. I'm
Yes.
a little confused. Are you only going to be putting in 1 pump, or are you just going to say, we're putting in a main pump, and then the one that you said is old and aging out will be your backup? Or?
So they're basically 2 identical pumps.
Okay.
So they kind of work in tandem. So you're not just running one all the time.
Okay,
We would alternate using those.
okay.
So currently we only have 1 pump operating.
Okay, so you're looking to purchase 2?
Correct. One is already
Oh, you're
approved for
going to
this
keep
year.
the old one?
Yeah, they'll be replacing it here in the
Okay.
next couple of weeks.
All right, all right,
So that one is already getting replaced. That's the one that's currently non-functional. So we're down to 1 pump right now.
okay, all right.
So basically we'd be replacing the other one before it is.
Okay. And what's the life of a pump typically?
I think the ones that are in there are about 15 to 16
Okay.
years, I believe.
Okay,
So.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
Can
you're right.
can I ask you another question?
Of course.
What type of salary increases are you putting through in 26 versus 25? Not just 3%?
3%.
Yeah.
On average.
On average for existing staff, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to the Kemper representatives for their time tonight. Next up is the enterprise funds. We will start with tennis, and then move to ice and then paddle tennis. We invite Pat Fergassi up to talk about tennis. Lisa will be here to support him.
Commissioners, before they start the presentation, I wanted to give a little disclaimer on some of the information that you will be seeing both in their presentation tonight and our ones going forward. We have a dollar amount allocated within all of our funds for medical insurance. Right now, we've been given an estimate of 20% increase on the premium cost. And We have spoken with our broker who has said that their starting price that they're starting negotiations with is about 18% right now, but they're still in conversations there. We're hoping that we'll get it a little bit lower, but right now the number that you see in the budget documents is 20%, so just be aware of that. Also, when you are reviewing the recreation and you see the salary and wages line items, some items that were previously there in 2025 were positions that were unfilled, and those we talked about in our staffing plan about those reorganizations to other positions. So items that were in recreation that were reorganized in the budget to a new position, the recreation or assistance analyst and the purchasing specialist, those were reorganized to corporate, so you will see those when we do the presentation on corporate. So just FYI as you're going through their presentation tonight.
Good evening, Commissioners. Pat Fergassi, manager at the AC Nielsen Tennis Center, an enterprise fund of the Winnetka Park District. Enterprise meaning that we are self-supported without any tax dollar support. With that being said,
For now.
I will review both the outdoor budget, which we operate for the summer months of June through August, and then the indoor tennis budget, which operates from September until May. Highlights for 2025 include the Parks Foundation, our third year working with the organization to put on an event. This year it was a ladies round robin event. We did shift the date from fall to spring, and we still had great turnout, and we were able to generate $4,000 for the Parks Foundation. I've already started talking about next year's event. Probably move it up a little bit earlier even. Continued relationships within the community. New Trier High School, unfortunately, we had moved them away for the construction outside for a season, but North Shore Country Day as well, District 36, as well as a couple other organizations that are pretty special to us. GLASA, which is the Great Lakes Adaptive Sports Association, there with Coach Paul, working with one of the players. We also work with, one of my pictures is missing, NSSRA, which is the North Suburban Special Recreation Association. That's a program that runs in the spring and the summer months. And the other group of players is through the Northwestern Medicine Parkinson's Movement organization or program they run. And so over about a year ago we started this, and it's a great opportunity for these players to come on out and keep moving and keep active, which has been shown to slow the progression. So these are some special organizations that come out and work with us, and beyond our 700 participants that play tennis with us in our programs throughout the year, or per session I should say, and all the other competitive teams that we host. So a variety of users. Speaking of travel teams, our ladies tennis teams are a large group of our indoor players and committed to playing. Over 100 ladies participate. Last year was another great year. We had 3 champions, 2 finalists, and they are underway for the next season. So we're running out of rooms to hang banners in the facility. Summer group lessons rebounded for us. That's one of those areas that's kind of hit or miss sometimes for us. Last year it dipped a little bit. This year it rebounded nicely, over 20% increase in revenue for us, which was really nice to see. And we didn't lose a lot of the private lesson participation as well. So both did quite well this summer for us. Looking ahead to 2026, obviously the big one for us is the completion of our outdoor court renovations. Scheduled to open in June, realistically, to 2026. Maybe if we get lucky with the weather, May. Everybody's eagerly waiting for the newly refreshed courts. We anticipate a return to a normal, typical school schedule. District 36 will now return to a more typical going back to school season before Labor Day. That will shorten our summer programs. It will extend our indoor program, which is where we really program for a bigger demographic of players, so it actually helps us at the end of the day. And then annual debt service. You only have to hear this slide 2 more years. The principal will reduce from $100,000 to $50,000 next year and the following year as well in 27. And then we'll be done. That is debt service we started in 2013 with the renovation of the facility. And again, 2 years left. Some budget trends here for us. These are our main categories of revenue for the facility, and it just gives you a 20-year snapshot of kind of how the users and the revenue comes into the building. Membership is one area, it's not required, but certain players do take advantage because there's some benefits that go along with it. Been pretty steady throughout the years. Daily fees is those recreational players, both members and non-members of the facility, who are just coming to play tennis. That's the one I keep thinking will dip each year. However, they're finding times to still play, and that continues to be, pretty consistent for us. The biggest growth is in private lessons and group lessons over the years. Demand continues to come in, and we try to do the best that we can to accommodate all demand. Alexander Shuby, my director of tennis, does a fantastic job of doing everything he can to meet the expectations and the needs of the community. There's program participation history. It's a 10-year snapshot, just showing kind of the users of juniors and adults in a fall typical programming season. Remains pretty consistent through all three of the indoor seasons, which is fall, winter, and spring. You just kind of see the usage. Where it peaked during the pandemic and even after the pandemic, juniors have kind of flattened out a little bit and adults continue to grow. I know demographics and usage of our programs is been a topic of conversation, and pleased to show that between our juniors and adults in our fall programs, show about 77-78% usage of our taxpaying community. We do prioritize our taxpayers by letting them register before anybody else. Our neighbors also participate in our programs as well. Glencoe seems to be the leader between both, and then Wilmette and Kenilworth, and then some outside users as well. Combined fund overview. So in this fund, basically, if we look at, starting this year, we have a pretty healthy reserve fund of $3.5 million. While our estimates that we projected out show us to bring a little less revenue than projected, we also have a little less expense as well, which brings our NOI actually a little bit better than what we had budgeted. So $600,000. That's before we look at our big capitals that we have this year. Even our capital expenditures are a little bit lower than budgeted. And so with that being said, we'll still have to draw out of our reserve fund to the tune of about $911,000. Look ahead to next year, we'll still have a healthy fund balance to start 2026, about $2.6 million. We'll return back to more positive cash flow and adding to the enterprise fund, with adding net operating income at the end of the year just under, just over $400,000. So we'll get ourselves back up to $3 million to start, 2027. Fortunately, we don't have major expenses down the road for ourselves. We have ongoing maintenance and capital improvements. The next major one will be the roof, and that's quite a few years down the road for us. So the facility and the enterprise fund is in pretty healthy shape. These slides are just breaking down the outdoor revenues and where that money comes from. Excuse me. Really, the only variance you can see really is in group lessons, and that's really from the reduction of programming for that week when we return back to school and start the fall program a little bit earlier. Any questions on this slide for outdoor revenue? Outdoor expense, much the same, pretty consistent, even though there's some bigger variances there. Those are variances from the 25 budget, not the actual. Probably the biggest one is a reduction in the program maintenance services for next year. That would be the fact that we don't need the contractor of Walt Hamilton for the construction project, because that'll be wrapped up. There's a big reduction there. You'll see a line item for fund transfers. So when the outdoor operation runs at a loss, there's an intra-fund balance. So that is taken from the indoor budget and brought to the outdoors to make up for that shortage. So we expect a slight transfer next year, if all holds true, about $12,000. There's been a number of years since we need to make that transfer. Typically it happens when we have a larger capital improvement outdoors that requires that transfer within the fund. Indoor tennis, a lot more revenue coming in a couple different categories. Pretty consistent, again, looking into next year. Any questions on the indoor revenue slide?
Hey, Ted, has it been relatively consistent that you've kind of broken even on outdoor? Has that been
It has not required a fund transfer and actually have made money. What's that?
So it's like a break-even business. I mean, I know we transferred money into it last year, or this year.
Yeah.
But is it generally was it a break-even business in 2018, 19, 20, 21?
We've done better than break even for the outdoor program.
Okay.
Yeah, over the last few years, it's been pretty consistent for us, based on the success of our group lessons and whatnot. We're losing a little bit of revenue because we don't have New Trier out there this fall, so it impacts us this year. We anticipated that, and we won't have them in the spring next year, so that number drops a little bit as well. $4,000 a season is what New Trier pays us, so $8,000 over the course of the year, but we expect them to be back next fall. So, yeah. But overall, the summer's been pretty healthy. The expense side of the operation as well for indoors is noted right here. Lots of categories. Obviously, the biggest area for us is salaries and wages. We have about 30 staff members that work for us to varying degrees of hours per week. Obviously, several coaches that are teaching all the demand for lessons, and then we've got quite a few desk staff team members as well as some maintenance members. Any questions on the expense side of the operation for indoors? Are there any questions about the operation or budget for tennis? Yes, Christina.
I had one question. The roof, you said several years down the road.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, what's that number and roughly what's that time? Just ballpark.
Well, we did a shingle replacement and replaced bad decking, I want to say, 7 years ago, I want to say. Everything has, in my mind, has to go pre-pandemic or post-pandemic.
Yeah.
So I know it was pre-pandemic, I don't have the exact year. The next one will be a complete deck replacement as well as shingles. I do not have a number for what that looks like. We're probably 18 years out, if not more. And who knows, I can give you a number now, who knows what it would be in 18 years. I would imagine it's a lot of square footage up there, so.
We're 18 years in the future to a new roof.
Yeah,
Oh, perfect.
yeah, we got plenty of time. You should have enough money.
No, you can't be predicting apples. You can't, yeah. You can't predict those numbers. Okay, that's good to know. That's helpful.
Any other questions? No? Thank you. I'll bring up Paul Schwartz to take the ice arena and.
Yes, it should be.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Schwartz. I'm the Enterprise Fund Manager for the NECA Ice Arena. I'll be starting with that presentation, followed shortly by the platform tennis presentation. 2025, judging by this little guy, we had a good year. We're continuing to see a little uptick in our group lesson participation. Every year, I wonder when we're going to reach the top of that bell curve. As I look out on the ice surface and see more and more kids and a lot less space, we have to continue to be very creative in the ways we get them out there, what hours a day we get them out there, and how quickly we can get them off and get the next kids out there. So we are getting creative with these things, with getting all the new skaters out there and continuing to keep out the skaters that we've had for a while. And one of the big things that we're seeing, which is great for our programs, is that the kids are sticking with it. They're not just coming in, learning how to skate, and then they're good to go. They're staying with it. They're learning more skills. They're learning more, especially in the figure skating side. They're staying longer, learning more jumps, and we started a competitive team. So that's driving interest in the children staying within the program, which is great for us. We're always able to keep the base of the program strong, but the middle part of the program, where we're retaining the skaters, has really been a lot of our success in that program. Like I said, it's very solid there. We're very lucky that we have such a great relationship with the Winnetka Hockey Club. They have, I don't want to say taken over, but they have all but really engulfed and own the Learn to Skate, Learn to Play program that we partner with them. So much so that they are giving us back ice so that we can actually get more kids on the ice. All right, in the past we were really struggling with putting figure skaters and hockey on the same ice surface at the same time. It can get a little dangerous. We've now moved our program to where the hockey classes are on their own separate ice sheet. So now we can get more kids on that ice, and now we can get more kids on the figure skating ice in the other one. So some of the creative ways that we're trying to drive more revenue and keep as many people in the building as possible. And then the last thing about last year, we had a very low capital year. We just installed our new sound system over there. So far, it's been going pretty well. We might want some tweaks to it, but we'll talk about that later. Looking forward, I kind of decided that we're gonna maybe just paint the picture real quickly here is, you know, how does the ice arena make its money and where does the money go? So our top three revenue sources is the Winnetka Hockey Club. Again, we're very, very lucky to have them. A very big user group for this park district. I often like to say it's one of our biggest user groups for this park district. I think I'm right. Followed closely by group lessons. And group lessons is, like I said, it's really taken off. I've never seen numbers this high in all my years in managing ice rinks. And I'm 26 years now. So we're killing it there. So I'm pretty proud of that fact. And then, of course, the New Shore Hockey Club. 12% of our revenues, it's a pretty large number, but it's about $120,000 a year. And they're pretty much just skating late nights. One sheet a night, late nights, 7 days a week. So we're pretty happy to have them there, taking up that ice that nobody else wants. Looking at our fund overview, you're going to see number one, we have we've got a pretty healthy fund balance. We continue to try to add that every year. Obviously, we have a little bit of pencil sharpening we might need to do when we find out what the medical expenses are, but we will attack that when we get to that point. Is there any questions about this slide before I just jump right past it? I feel like sometimes this one draws information or draws questions.
One question. Winnetka Hockey is an affiliate, right?
They are.
Yeah.
And they should make sure, are they officially affiliate? Yes. Okay.
And it's $350,000 in revenue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right around there.
Thank you.
Right around there.
One question,
Yes, sir.
hypothetical,
Yes.
completely hypothetical.
Yeah.
If you had another sheet of ice, would you double your revenues? Could you fill it as much? Or because you're really,
No, this is a really good question, because I've gone both ways on this. All right, when I first heard about the potential thoughts about talking about a second sheet of ice, I was very concerned with all the ice rinks that are up and down the North Shore. There's a lot of sheets of ice. 2 more sheets of ice just opened up in Rosemont, 2 more being built in Elk Grove right now. Chicago just added 2 more sheets. But the trend is going up. If you look at our group lessons and see how many kids we have in our programs, everyone's programs look like that. So we have more skaters, more hockey players, more everybody coming through. That, when I say an exact double, it might take a few years to get up to an exact double. I will say the expenses are not exactly double, but it would probably be another 75% of expenses to run 2 sheets of ice. So I guess I'm back and forth with that a lot, but I'm starting to lean a little bit that, second sheet of ice could be very profitable for the park district. And or a studio sheet, so I got other thoughts on that. Okay, moving forward to our revenues, pretty much our revenues kind of hold a steady line year to year, 1 sheet of ice. We can only do so much and sell so much of that ice, that's all we have. But it pretty much stays stable, that's why 26 is very close to what the 25-year end looks like. Again, just reiterating, our user fees is what is our biggest growth right now. Because that's we have selling the ice hours, which is to our affiliate groups and our rentals and stuff, and then where we can really see our growth is in our programming. Is how many people, if we get more kids in our group lesson program, we're gonna have more kids coming to public skate. We're gonna have more kids renting skates. We're gonna have more kids coming to freestyle in the morning. So the Learn to Skate program is so vital to the ice rink's future because that is clearly our feeder for everything going forward. Expense-wise, again, you guys, we talked about it a little bit. A lot of our expenses changed too much through the years. I did hear some some whispers, very curious about, in our industry of the ice arena, because, everybody thinks about ice and they think about Canada. Tariffs and stuff like that has not really affected us too much. It's because we buy American, no. But the wholesalers and the supply houses are in America, so they already have all of the stuff that we need. One of the big things might be Zamboni, but Zamboni has a California plant and a Canadian plant, so when we buy stuff, we get it from the American side. So the only thing that we've seen a little bit of a issue with on tariffs would be on rental skates, because those actually come from China. But we haven't needed rental skates for a few years, and I can probably hold off for a few years, so we wait to see what happens there. And then just our capitals this year, they're more smaller things that we're looking at. One of them is the water bottle fillers. This is more of the health and safety thing for us. We have some original to the building water fountains. It's time to adapt and move into getting water bottle fillers, because that's what people have everywhere, and they're filtered and everything. So it's more of a health and safety thing. There's obviously some paving coming forward. We're considering a storage shed for the outside of the building where the old chiller used to sit, just for a little more space. We're running out of it on the inside. And then in the sound system, like I said earlier, when we put in the new sound system, it was an apples-to-apples sound system, and it was so old. When I had this done, I was like, oh, the sound system's like really getting, it's not sounding great. Well, the sound system never had bass to it. I thought our bass was just completely blown out. So there's a small capital line item in there to potentially add some bass to our system, just to make the sound, just bump a little bit more for the hockey games and the ice show. But we'll see about all of that as we go forward with some of the other expense line items. Any ice questions? All right, moving on to platform tennis. Another enterprise facility, but this facility is designed to break even. But we have been lucky for at least the past 8-9 years or so to be putting a little bit of money into the reserves every year. So depending on what that number might be, anywhere between 2,000 to 20,000 I've seen, we've just been able to continue to put those in. We do have a pretty healthy, for that facility, we have a pretty healthy line item in reserves, but I'll get to that slide in a minute. This year saw a lot of R&M, a lot of upkeeping with the facility. The Platform Tennis Club came to us and requested that we speed up our timeline for a lot of our long-term repair and maintenance. We were only doing 2 or 3 courts a year, but they were all staggered. They kind of wanted everything on the same timeline. They also wanted a bunch of screens replaced to the tune of 35 to 40 screens, which is a lot of screens over there. So they generously donated the money for us to speed up our timeline to get everything now basically brand new over there. The last thing that we have to do is courts 2 and 3 next year to resurface, and then after that we're going to just do all 8 courts every 4 years. So it's going to be a bigger line item in R&M every 4 years to do all of the courts, but now they're all going to be on the same time period, and we're not going to have to shut down the facility for a week every year. We'll have to shut down the facility for a week once every 4 years. So normally it's in the summer anyway, it's not a huge impact, but it is a little bit better for the facility's operation. Looking forward to next year, like I said earlier, the Winnetka Platform Tennis Club is a huge, large portion of our revenue. We're thankful to them. They care so much about that facility. They want it to always be top-notch, the best, first class on the North Shore, and they put their money where their mouth is. So we have to really, just applaud them for having that foresight as an affiliate group. I apologize, to join and partner with us to make sure our facility is the best it can be. I'm thankful for what they do, because then it lets my R&M for a few years go down quite a bit as we build it back up for them. Group lessons is providing about 18% of revenue for us. I have seen a little bit of a downtick there, so it's something I'm keeping an eye on. We're also looking at different ways to present the classes and potentially drive some new revenue there. And then our other revenue source over there is our party rentals, Friday and Saturday nights, and then just any off, court rentals are $25 an hour for anybody, any resident can come in and get some court time out there. And then, excuse me, I know there are some talks about a paddle hut renovation. You guys are up to date on that as far as what I know right now, but again, the Platform Tennis Club is, really pushing that and we want to be a big part of that, so we're very grateful for that. Our fund overview, is pretty much stable year to year, where we get everything from, all our revenue. I'm seeing a little bit, excuse me. The ending reserves there is still pretty healthy. We're gonna end up at about $249,000 in that fund for a break-even fund. Right now, without having any major capitals coming up at that facility, it's nice to have that fund balance where it is. Actually, I'm going back to that. I asked the same question for ICE. Is there any questions on this slide, the overview?
Those reserves, which is, you said are pretty substantial for this fund, are those from the operations or is any of that from donations from the Winnetka Paddle Tennis Club? Or do we immediately, when they donate money, we immediately spend it on a capital project? Is that how it works?
From what I understand, and I don't have all the details on that, but most of the time, the exact dollar amount that is gonna cost for the project is what is actually donated for the project.
So these reserves are largely, they built up over, let's say, 10 years. It's just been a continuous, relatively small amount of surplus.
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner, I could give a little bit more insight on that. When they have when the Platform Tennis Club has a specific project that they would like to undertake, we have brought forward a donation agreement to the board to do a budget adjustment to add that to the budget to get that work done during that fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
The majority where you see the reserves or the fund balance is based largely on the use agreement that we have with the Winnetka Platform Tennis Club. So they have an annual fee that they pay.
Mhm.
Right now, we redid their agreement maybe a year ago or so, and they have an annual escalator of CPI or 5%, whichever is lower. So that's the majority of where that reserve comes from.
Thank you.
And just looking forward to revenues real quickly, again, like Shannon just said, we are looking at a 3.1% escalator for CPI for next year. When I say next year though, this is not January 1st, this is like August 1st, because their season runs 25 to 26, 26 to 27, so that's other things built in. Like I said earlier, I'm seeing a little bit of a downtick in our group lesson program. So that's why we see a little bit of lesser revenue there. And that was it for that. And then expenses, we're gonna just see, I think the biggest thing right now is that other than the 2 courts that have to resurface next year, which will catch us up with all the courts, our R&M, with all the screens that were just replaced and all the work that was done to the facility last year, our R&M budget for the next year or 2 is gonna remain much lower because all the heavy lifting is done. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we are moving on to Fund 10, the Rec Department. So the Rec Department is made up of multiple, the Rec Fund, I should say, is made up of multiple departments, and I have representatives here from each of my departments that are going to summarize each of their department operations. We will start with some highlights of 2025. We created some new programs this year, and just to name a few, the Spinergy cycle class that takes place out in the Lloyd Pier has proven to be quite popular. In fact, they added classes every single weekend for the month of October, if you guys want to try that out. Walk with Ease was our senior walking program that we held this summer, our Lego club. We added the mother-son date night and the new back-to-school bash. We expanded the end of summer luau by tacking on a concert. We also made this event free due to a donation from the foundation. We offered sailing at Wilmette Harbor this summer, which allowed us to run the season more, I don't want to say more better, but better because it was within the harbor and we didn't have to deal with any hazards with the waves. We expanded our Beach Safe Water Safety campaign. Matt and I did the presentation across all of District 36 schools this year, reached every single child within Winnetka on the campaign. We expanded our community education on lifeguard operations with some of our social media posts that we made all summer. And we offered some new children and family activities at the farmers market this year, partnering with the farmers market to expand how we bring families into the farmers market. This also was our most successful camp season too. Second most. Looking to next year, we are excited to now have access to the Crow Island Gym because that construction is done. We are going to be using District 36 more than what we used this past summer, we hope, for camp. Elder Beach will be open for swimming, and we are continuing to do updates and enhancements to the events and programs that we currently run. So within all of those departments, this slide is heavy, but this is the fund overview. And just to highlight some of the numbers, we are estimating to end the year with a rec fund reserve of $5.774 million. We do have a major capital that is coming out this year, which is the turf project, which we're excited about. So we'll be starting 2026 with $5.774 million. Our total revenues for 26 is $3.2 million, with operating expenses just over $3 million. So our NOI before capitals is $222,000. We do have some capitals which will be summarized throughout the rest of the slides, exceeding $222,000. So we will be using $112,000 from our reserves to balance the rec fund at the end of the year. Still projecting to end the year, or proposing to end the year, with ending reserves of $5,614,062. Our policy states that we have to have 25% restricted, so we have plenty of money in our reserves. Okay. Our next slide summarizes our capital expenses within each department. This was also highlighted at the last board meeting and will be summarized in some upcoming slides within each department. But our proposed budget includes $334,800 of capital expenses for 2026. Any questions on the fund overview? Okay, we will start with the first department, which is Rec Admin. Rec Admin essentially is where our property taxes are funded or held. This 2026, we are proposing a decrease in property taxes into the rec fund, a decrease of $262,000 from 2025, projecting, or proposing, sorry, I used the wrong word, of $739,742. There's minimal additional revenue that comes into this department. The user fees of $10,000 is actually an expense. Those are the scholarships that we give out to those that need in our community, and $1,400 is minimal revenue that we receive by renting this room. As far as expenses go, a majority of the expenses within this department are percentage of the full-time managers' salaries. We also house all of the department marketing expenses out of this account. And this is the department that will then do intra-fund transfers into the rest of the rec departments if they need some additional support. The capitals that are coming out of this department is new flooring for this room, windows, and a percentage of the parking lot project paving. Okay. Toby's gonna come up and talk about the Department 1100.
Good evening, everybody. Toby Ross, Recreation Manager here at the Park District. Yeah, as Lisa just said, I'm going to talk about 1100, which is sort of the, if it's not on the lakefront, it's not summer camp, there's probably a good chance it's going to not be found in here. So that is basketball, in-house programs, house league basketball, hot shots, kind of the general programs, not our summer stuff. The swimming program that we do, Legos, birthday parties, some of our other programs, school day off stuff, and then all of our special events that are not on the lakefront. So 4th of July, Bike Winnetka, things like that. All of the rec department, between myself, James, Matt, and Debbie, all have a hand in this account. So flipping over to the revenue side of things, we had a pretty good year this year. We were up just under about $90,000 from what we budgeted. And that's pretty much largely due to a very good year with Hot Shots. All their programs came in a lot higher than I think we had anticipated. So you'll see sort of some of the windfall of that on the next slide, but a big chunk of that is from that program, or those programs, I should say. So looking ahead to 2026, we're not necessarily expecting an identical situation in next year, but putting things close and, pretty much expecting a general sense we'll do similar work for the following year. And are matching pretty much close to what we're anticipating for the end of this year. Now, on the expenses side of things, obviously there are a lot more lines to look at, salaries and wages. That also is another portion, not just of the admin side, but some of my salary, all the rec managers, our part-time staff, and another, basically all the special event salaries, things like that. So we are pretty close on what we anticipated for this year. On the supply side of things, we are being, selective in what we spend our money on and saving money where we can. Now, on the flip side, one of the reasons that services might be a little bit higher, which they are this year, is because we have to pay Hot Shots more because they brought in more money for us. So that's why you'll see on the program services line that, that's about $55,000 more than we anticipated. But that is also countered by the fact that we made more money on the revenue side of things. That also, probably somewhat a little bit on events. Things cost more money. Everything's going up, right? And as you will see in the proposed 2026 budget, we are expecting expenses to continue to rise. Salaries, I know Shannon had mentioned this earlier. Some of that medical stuff, and that's all included in there with those assumptions. We also have the not overtime pay, but the holiday pay, which puts a big chunk on the 4th of July. We have a lot of staff that come in and work, so that is now being officially budgeted for to that degree. So that's why that line is a little bit higher. On the supply side of things, we are dropping down some of our expectations. We're going to continue to do the best we can and do a lot with little, because that's what we do around here. And on the services side of things, we are expecting that is going to go up, because again, that is not just for the counter, Hot Shots programs being a little bit more next year, but special event services, all that stuff continues to rise exponentially, unfortunately. And there's not a slowdown in that in any way. So one last note there, really, Unfortunately, this account does need to take some of those funds, as Lisa noted, but one thing to note is most of our special events are either free or very low cost, and just as Elisa mentioned it in our little pre-meeting today, it is one of the top rated things, if not the first thing on the master plan for the things that we do around here. So, money well spent is what I would say. So, I think if there's any questions for that. Again, that's just sort of the general stuff. We're going to get into lakefront and other specific things if you have any questions. All right, I'm going to turn it over, I think, to James next.
Hello, good evening. My name is James, athletic manager here at the Park District. I am going to go over our 1,200 athletic fields funds. So revenue, majority of this is generated from our field rentals and our affiliate relationships, and North Shore Country Day, which really together is the main drive of the revenue line. Some of the other stuff that we do that is in the revenue lines here is our group lessons, which encompasses our summer camps we hold here, some of our other athletic summer camps that we host down at the lake, our beach volleyball. But really what this is the athletic offerings here in town at our athletic fields. You will see that we are we'll be increasing our revenue this year by roughly 82,000 on our field rentals. You will see for 2026 that we are going to be decreasing what is proposed intake revenue for our group lessons and summer camps. This is due to what's been mentioned earlier, is D36 is going to be going back to school before Labor Day, kind of earlier in the summer. And we'll be losing about roughly 2 weeks of summer camps that have been profitable for us in the later months in August. And then so some of the expenses that come along with our field rentals, in conjunction with the Parks Department, is the field maintenance, the supplies that are needed out there. Some of the Parks Department staff and wages are out of there. And then our facility supervisor wages are in here. So we see an increase in field rentals. We will see an increase in salaries and wages to make sure we have a presence out here and around town for our field rentals. Again, we'll see a decrease in the contractual program expenses with the decrease in the revenue. And then some of the other capitals you'll see coming from this will be some new fencing you'll see around the Skokie playfields, and then the proposed dugout canopies over the baseball dugouts out here to the west. Any questions with expenses or revenue for the 1,200 account? Yes, ma'am.
One question about affiliate revenue. I think if it's roughly 95% of your revenue, is that correct?
No, it's roughly 45%.
Okay.
North Shore Country Day is a partner with us contractually.
Okay.
If we took them into account, then we would be more towards 90%.
Okay.
So if you were to look at AYSO, Kenilworth, KWBA,
Junior
Trevians, and North Shore Country Day, you would be up towards 85%.
So those three, AYSO, KWBA, and Junior Trevians are about $243,000.
Those three are about 45%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a big number. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yes.
During our pre-session with Elisa, she advised that in 2026, we would not be using Indian Hill Park. And I wondered if you could tell me whether that creates a disadvantage for your department, as it appears it is well utilized,
Yeah,
and why perhaps that, what is the reason for that?
We're not sure. Do you want to?
was it
Yeah.
older?
Elder has, I understand,
Oh,
they have
indeed.
a restriction and special use permit.
So commissioners, if I could, with those particular facilities, we had questions in regards to if there were special use permits or if there were any restrictions, and some language in our policy documents that do not include those as athletic fields. So until we're able to get that information cleared up, they've been removed from the budget at this point.
How much is that?
I would like to get back to you on those numbers. I do have it broken down every which way for Indian Hill, online, offline, Elder, online, offline. Definitely map that out for you.
Can you also calculate Elder, what the reduction in usage is at Elder, what the opportunity cost is of those restrictions in that special use permit?
Yes, so there's.
I'm just curious.
So there would be 2 seasons worth, a fall and a spring season, roughly 16 weeks.
Yeah.
5 days a week, roughly 2 hours a day. So I mean, the math, I can have it all broken down, can share it with you.
It's fine.
But
It doesn't,
would be-
we have many more budget meetings to come. Yeah.
It would be impactful to the amount of youth that are utilizing these spaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Thank you.
Just one other question, when did we start using Indian Hill? Was it 2021? Just trying to remember.
I unfortunately can't go back to see when we did start, but definitely the past 5 years.
That's
we've
what I
had
thought,
that.
it was,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's busy.
Outdoor space was really in a need during,
Yeah,
the start of
COVID.
COVID in 2020. And that's where we brought the youth out, but now we're slowly taking it back, and that's where we're finding some troubles.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any questions?
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Matt Barton, Lakefront Manager. Good to see you all. I'm going to take you on a little journey here through our lakefront funds, 1,400, 1,500, and 1,600. 1,400 being our lakefront programs. Used to be our in-house sailing program, which last year we kind of switched it over because we kind of sourced that out now. It is all of our lakefront programs into 1,400. So that will take up our sailing lessons that we have been doing for a few years. We've shared a shore yacht club, and we moved to the yacht club this year, which Elisa was saying because of we had a lot of weather days they couldn't sail. So in the harbor now they can, and that's really helped. Our kayak and sup camp, Northwest Passage. Our second year of the rowing camp, Row for All, starting to pick up some good traction. And then the yoga we do out on the platform, stairs over a tower, and the new hot spin cycling on the Lloyd Pier program, which is really taking off. And as Elisa was saying too, we have them every weekend for the next 3 out on the pier, so that should be really fun. So that's where we're going to be at with our 1,400. The revenues lines are not, switch that line, thank you. It's really just kind of what's coming in. The variances, I guess, would be from a little bit lower enrollment than we planned, just kind of shooting higher than we wanted to, and with that, we just kind of brought it back down to real life visual and to the actuals for next year. So we're just going to ride that out that way. The expenses are really just. It's really just the contractor fees through the splits that we do, the medical insurance that we're all speaking of, and the percentage of the manager's salaries. So that's really just all the expenses we have for the 1,400 for the lakefront programs. So that kind of wraps that up. Any questions on the lakefront programs for anybody?
I have one question.
Sure.
Was Spinergy spring, summer and fall this year?
It was summer.
Yeah.
One-
One weekend in May,
It was, well, yeah, one in May and then a couple in June.
one in September.
Oh, didn't they do it June? Was it June? No. So yeah,
Do you anticipate that they would like to expand that program? Because that used to be a full-time studio here in Winnetka, and it was packed.
I think after this next 3 weeks, we'll have a really good idea. I
Yeah.
mean, from, even just from registration in the last 3 days since we announced it, it's almost all like half full or more already, so, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it is good. So we'll move into 1500, which is our swim beaches. And that's just, all our season pass sales, our daily admissions, all our dog beach pass sales, and then all our beach special events. We do the summer kickoff beach cleanup early. We did our 3rd annual beach bash at Lloyd Beach this year. And then the beach carnival in July, which is always a huge hit. And then the end of summer luau, which we threw in a concert, little band at the end this year. And also offered that event to be free. So it was really good turnout, really nice event. So jumping into revenues for that, really it's all of our season passes and our daily admissions. And then, that's kind of our big one. And then the special event revenue just decreased a little bit because we offered some of them for free. So that's kind of what happened there. And then we'll go for the donation from the Parks Foundation again. That gave us a nice donation for our summer events at the beach, which was really nice. And then again, the budgeted for 2026 is just off the actuals from 2025. Expenses in 1500, salaries. It's really just, the rec supervisors and managers, and then the addition of full Elder swimming beach open for the whole season. So that's gonna change things a little bit. The supplies increased a bit for some of the new tools we're gonna wanna use to make our operation clean and nice. And then the services, again, the medical, insurance, special event rentals, things we do, costs increasing, and then our rapid water testing that we did for the first year this year will continue next year. So that's in there as well. And then the capitals increase, we're just, the facility surveys that we do, and then we're also going in on with another beach tractor for raking the beaches, and keeping them all raked and nice. So we're going to do that for the capitals. And that's 1500, the beaches. If anybody has any questions there. I don't think so, no? Okay. So we'll go to 1600, which is our boat launch. All our revenue generated there is from all our boaters using the pier to launch their boats. All the beach launchers, launching their kayaks and their paddleboards. The daily admissions that we come in, the daily launch fees, the 240 racks we have on the beach for paddleboards and kayaks and sailboats, and then the 12, 13 coveted spots in the fenced-in storage. So that's what we have going on in the boat launch. And I will add that we have 2 spots coming up this year in the fenced-in storage. One is a lottery spot, and one is a highest bidder spot. So we'll have 2 spots opening. One lottery gets you 4 years, and one highest bidder gets you 7. So that's going to be the cycle moving forward at the boat launch and the fenced-in storage. So into revenues here for the boat launch, pretty consistent with what we did in 25. We're going to go with 26. It's really kind of just right there. There's not too much else really in there to see. And the foundation, miscellaneous income is the foundation transfer from prior years from the lottery revenue. that's all, write-off money if you buy your lottery ticket for the fencing storage or the foundation transfer for that. So that is the revenues, and then expenses. You can see here, it's the same, similar to the beaches. It's salaries for the full-time rec supervisor. The decrease is only the percentage of the lakefront manager was part of that decrease. And then right here, the salary reallocation, I guess we could say, is kind of a better way to put it. And then the services, we had a bigger increase in what we were expecting maybe for the boat launch dredging to be. So we had to kind of put that in there, hoping it's not that much, but it's there. And then the same with the capitals, split with Gaylor Beach on the park surveys and the new beach raking tractor. And that is really about it there for our lakefront. Anybody has any questions on that?
I do. I think I missed something.
Okay.
Where does the boat storage come in? Is it at the rack rentals or where is it?
The boat storage for in the fenced-in area?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Okay.
comes in as a rack rental. It's the same as a rack rentals. Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I have one question. If you had to ballpark capacity for boat launch, in and out, what would you say that is per weekend or per day?
Like how many just
How many
in and out
like,
on their
boats-
own?
Yeah, I mean, like, assuming that people generally wanna go out in the morning, people generally wanna come back at the end of the day, those are gonna be pinch points.
Yeah.
So for the staff that you have and the way that you budget for that staff, what's a ballpark number of boats you can get in and out of the water?
I mean,
Calmly, safely, comfortably.
Not including
yeah, I mean, it depends, I mean, but there are a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
you can handle a lot. I mean, it flows through, you get in, you get out, you go park,
Yeah,
you go on your boat. I mean, most people kind of get started a little bit later in the morning
yeah,
if they're gonna go out, and, so our peak times might be 10, might get another staff member coming a little bit later.
yeah.
Start at 10, maybe go till 5 or 6 instead of coming in at 8 and sitting around,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, 20, 30, 40, 50, it's a lot. It can be a lot. I mean, we struggle obviously with just space at that point for
Yeah.
where are we gonna park all the trailers and where are we gonna put all this stuff, and we make it work. There's only, maybe the 3rd of July for the fireworks to go out and watch them in Wilmette, maybe the Air and Water Show weekend, you might see some overflow of where am I gonna park, or you might see a trailer parked across the street on Prospect, or over there on the other side of Sheridan, you might see a couple SUVs with a trailer. But it gets managed pretty well, and also with just the attendance, and you have to have a pass to be there and park there. We do pretty well with that now. We have a pretty good system, so it really helps with who's supposed to be there and who's not.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
All right.
Go Cubs.
Thank you.
Sorry, Sylvia, I forgot about it. Mr. Rath?
You might have a
You
question.
know what, I'll hold until Toby's done, because I have a couple wall questions,
You can bring that in.
But, go on.
She's gonna do it.
Everyone.
I'm gonna hold the trunk there.
All right, so hi, Toby Ross, Recreation Manager with Black Park District. I am in charge of all of our summer camps, day camps, here at the Park District. And 2025 saw a return to District 36, which was very welcome after an unfortunate 2024 where they were totally shut down. We also continue to utilize space at Christ Church, which has become quite a nice, I don't want to say partnership because that's not the right word, but just relationship between them. It's been really nice to work with them the past 2 years, as well as my endless thanks to Pat over at Tennis for letting us invade his space over the summer, the Tennis Shack in Court 4, as well as Paul letting us invade paddle every year. It is much needed and very appreciated. So 2026, we are expecting generally a similar setup as to 2025. There always are some questions with District 36 as to exactly what are we going to get from them. And it's a little early today to say exactly what school or schools, plural, you never know. We probably won't know that until the end of the year, hopefully, and hopefully it doesn't spill over into 2026 for us. But the other kind of thing to note, and James touched on this in his section, the timing of summer 2026 could potentially play a factor into our numbers, as it will likely be a short summer for the kids as they started late this year and they are likely to be going back early next summer. So it is probably going to be a very tight summer for the youth of Winnetka, but we're going to manage it the best that we can. And as Elisa mentioned at the very beginning, one final note, this was our second most financially successful summer to date, where we grossed almost $750,000 and netted over a third of $1 million. So huge shout out to my staff, Sarah, Aaron, Ishtar, Melissa, Nicole, Luke, Doug, Lainey, Vida. I could go on all day long, but they are the ones that really help make the summer what it is. So as I just mentioned, this year we did come in ahead of what we anticipated. During last year's budget cycle, there was a lot of uncertainty as to what sort of space we were going to get and how much we were going to be able to do. Pretty much every one of our camps, except for our after-camp program, was more successful than I anticipated, so I'm happy about that. Looking ahead to next year, I am expecting a generally similar setup and situation to what we did this year, so that's why the budget is a little bit higher there. So that's on the revenue side of things. So for expenses, again, similarly to the rep fund at the beginning, we were able to cut some costs over the summer, kids go on vacations unexpectedly. Unfortunately, Matt and I get to deal with that all summer long, so that's why our number is a little bit less than budget. But then on the proposed side, just expecting everybody to be back and expecting higher costs and more money for all those things. On the supply side of things, again, as I mentioned, from the same thing, we try to do as best we can with the resources that we have. We get pretty close. That's going to be pretty accurate. And then similarly, not too much there. We can be pretty creative and useful with the supplies that we have or what we need to buy. And so not expecting too much of an increase there, especially in light of the next line, which is services. You will see that while we were pretty almost exact, I was pretty proud of myself this year for services, being only a couple $100 off. I am anticipating that come 2026, unfortunately, between trips, venues, and busing, all of those things, unfortunately, rising exponentially. And those are things that are much appreciated by the youth of our programs. I am expecting that stuff is going to rise. So things that used to be $10, $12 are now $15, $18, $20. Busing used to be in the 60s and now it's 75 or more. And so those things add up pretty quick over the course of time. So, and then at the very bottom, this is one of the few accounts that we get to have a positive thing and help pay for some of the other things around here and transfer some money out. So that is our camp situation in a nutshell. Anybody have any questions? Yes?
You've also included in this number the field trips and the days off of school teams?
No, those are in the 1,100.
The 1,100,
Yep.
perfect.
That stuff is in there.
Given that the cost of delivering some of these programs is increasing, busing and so forth, you'll be making adjustments on the fees as well?
We did, and that stuff was in there. Generally, I try to keep it as low as possible. One thing that we did do this year, and it was in those notes from before, if you want, I'm happy to give you the breakdown. We really try to limit the increases on the people that were using our program the most. So the people that are using us all day, full day, try to make that increase as little as possible, whereas the people who are maybe only gonna come hop into camp for a week, they're gonna see a higher increase in the fee to try to offset some of that. So the people that are the most loyal to us, we're trying to treat them as well as we can, so. And that might need it too, they might need, not that we're a daycare, but just need that coverage for the course of those 8 weeks. Just try to be as helpful as possible.
Okay, thank you. Well, they allow you to cover your budget.
Yes, yeah, I mean, it's, if I was not going to increase anything, then I'd have to cut something somewhere else, and we don't want to do that. We've had a very successful program the last 13 years, so hopefully we can keep it going.
Thank God we have our camps. Obviously, it's a tremendous product, but it makes money. And we talked a little bit about it in the pre-board meeting, and I was just looking at previous year's budgets about immediately post-COVID, everybody did it.
That was our highest year.
Yeah,
2022. 2022 was our highest year.
Yeah, in 21, our operating profit, if the numbers are correct, again, before capitals, was about $2 million. In 22, it was about 1.1. I don't have 23 in here for me. The consistent theme is expenses are going up. We have substantial reserves in our rec fund, largely due to the immediate post-COVID issue. I'm just a little, I don't think we're raising our fees enough. This is a fund that takes about $700,000 of taxes now, right? $300,000 less because of the allocation. It takes a lot of user fees in percentage-wise relative to revenues. I would be focused on that. And I know we budget conservatively, revenue and expenses, so I would just make that as a general statement.
I will consider that. You want to answer?
I was just gonna say, don't sell yourself short. It's a great set of programs. It's super conveniently located. You're programming on days off of school. Kids are with their friends. It's a huge community win.
No, that's more for the 1100, but those have been really well received and gone really well, just as a side. Yeah, that stuff has gone really well.
And my comments were more generally on rec overall, not, our camps are fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's all for Toby, unless the comment that you're holding is for Toby.
It's not specific to Toby.
Okay, all right, do you want to?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Oh, was there more? Sorry.
No, it's kind of general.
That's wrong, yeah.
It's more general. But just on the health, the medical expenses, in my individual discussion, have asked for some more detail around that in terms of numbers, because I know we've talked about there's a 20% increase, but it's 20% over what? Is it just the medical, is it the dental, is it the life? What is the number, the base number that is 20%? Because in the presentations, because it's mixed in with other contract services by account, you really don't know, what's the dredging contract and what's the medical increase? And then the other area that I have questions on is just, what part of that is being absorbed by the district and what part is being absorbed by employees? I'm just trying to really understand that more as we look to make some decisions.
So the 18%, well, right now I have in there 20% because that is what the projected number had been given. That's for health insurance only. Dental might go up 5% or so, and vision might not go up. we're still waiting for those numbers. The renewal did come in for medical, and that came in at 18%. Our brokers haven't gone and negotiated yet, so it will come down a few percentage points, but they made it clear to me that it's not gonna be like in the past where they cut it by like half. Because last year, it was a projection of 11%, and it came down to 5.23%. So it's gonna still be, I'm gonna say at best, it might go down to 14%.
So I really am looking for a dollar amount, like not percent, like a dollar amount.
I thought that stuff was in the notes. I mean, when we put our budget information into Tyler, we put in notes of what each service line item cost. I wasn't prepared to answer that.
The Tyler information has not been shared yet. That was something else that I asked for.
Okay.
So I haven't seen that, but I'm just saying, like when I'm looking at these and I'm hearing the 20%, I don't know how to interpret that. So.
Well, it won't be 20%, so these aren't the final numbers yet. We're meeting with our broker next week or the following week, I think. So they should have negotiated, and then I'll have a more solid number.
Okay.
For maybe in October, maybe the next October, but definitely November, I'll have solid numbers on what the insurance will cost and whether that includes making plan changes or things like that, or, but I don't have that information yet. This is early to get that information.
It's a
Okay.
November,
So
it's always a November session.
And I would
Just for
clarify
perspective, though.
that the percentage number that is being mentioned is on the premium cost. So depending on the employee, the premium cost differs for what the employee pays versus what the park district pays. It's on a tiered basis based on how much employees make. So some is as low as 10%, and then at the highest is 25% what the employee pays of that premium. And at this point, what the park district has done is had that tiered structure so that, say, 18% right now would be applied to the 10% that the employee pays as their premium and the 90% that the park district pays on that. So for right now, it's a split unless the board decides they would like to do something else.
So I just would really like to see the numbers and then the document that explains the tiered system, because I don't think that we've ever seen that before.
I don't know how long they've been doing it. It was
I don't
in
know
place
either,
before
but I would
got here.
just like to see that to understand it better, so that we have a better collective understanding of how this works. Because I've been
Do
trying to
you want
figure
it in the numbers that are not final now, or do you want to wait until the numbers are more accurate?
If they're in the budget, something's in the budget. Here's the thing, services is a really broad category. It can be to pay someone to cut a tree down, it can be a lawyer, it can be healthcare insurance, it can be dental, it's super broad. The simple question is what's the number for healthcare that the agency is responsible for? Assuming, we know that there's all sorts of assumptions, at 20, what is that number? That's it. Is it an extra 50,000? Is it an extra 30,000? 10? I have no idea. I think that's your question.
That is my question.
Yeah, and I think that's an easy number too, because we know what services is. And obviously there's, I don't know how many line items that flow up to services, probably 15 different line items that flow up to that service.
I don't need it now during the meeting, but like in the next, couple weeks, it would be helpful, especially as we're like looking at the next round of budget information, to have that perspective.
All right. Is that all for presentations? Shannon? And I believe everyone's.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we get another applause?
Yes.
Get out of here. No choice.
You.
All right, at this point, we're going to be moving into closed session, and I would like to first make a motion to exclude Colleen Root from the closed session as it relates to an item involving her, and it would be a conflict of interest for her to participate in this matter. So moved.
Second.
May I have a motion to go into closed session?
Is there discussion? And yes, there is.
Oh.
Commissioner Root has a statement for everybody. You just pass these around, please. I'm making this statement not because this impacts me personally, but because of the statutory right of every elected official under Illinois law to have the opportunity to be in every meeting. So I'm going to read my statement.
A copy of that for the record.
Sure.
This board has no authority under Illinois law to bar me, a duly elected commissioner, from attending tonight's executive session. Section 2C1 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act, together with AG Opinion 91-001 and PAC Opinion number 17013, make clear that an elected member of a public body may not be excluded from any portion of a meeting, even when that member's own conduct, which is the case here, is the subject of discussion. An elected official is not an employee.
Point of order, I'm gonna stop you before you say
An
the
elected,
name
no, I will
or
continue
identify.
this.
No, point
No,
of order.
you
You
can't.
cannot-
It's confidential.
Point
This is
of
confidential.
order.
confidential.
You
It is
cannot
confidential, and-
identify the employee in
I
any
will
way,
not
shape,
identify
or
the
form.
employee.
Not by title, not by function.
I will not. A complaint was filed on September 25th, 2025 by a high-ranking member.
Okay, that's a breach. This is what you don't need to give rank or anything.
I have
That's a breach,
a
and you've
full
been
and
advised
equal
by
right
our
to
council
participate.
that you have, that this is a
I
confidential
expect
matter.
tonight's meeting to be recorded. I further request that Park Council provide a written opinion setting forth the legal authority, if any, to exclude me from this session in my capacity as an elected official. I think what needs to be clearly understood is once an HR complaint touches elected official conduct, it is no longer a personnel matter. It becomes a matter of open records where the public has every right to know what that official has done, and that outweighs the interest of anything else. I fully respect the board's intent to manage this matter appropriately. However, the effort to proceed in my absence suggests that certain members of this board intend to hear only one side of this issue. I remain committed to cooperating in every way consistent with law, but it is my belief that any action to remove me from this meeting exceeds lawful authority, and it infringes upon my rights as an elected official. My sole purpose in submitting this statement is to preserve the record and to ensure that our board acts in full compliance with the Open Meetings Act and its guiding principles of transparency, fairness, and due process. Again, we cannot conflate. I'm not an employee of this district. I'm an elected official. I have every right to sit in every single meeting. To bar me from this is wrong, and it starts to impinge on my civil liberties and my freedom of speech. This is wrong.
Okay. We've heard, all right. Does anyone else want to comment? All right, can we move to vote?
There is no vote here. I am not leaving. You will have to forcibly remove me.
You are required to leave.
I will not leave. I don't think you understand. You have no right to remove an elected official
You have
from
rec-
any
You have
meeting.
received a letter from our attorney that says in this meeting you may not participate.
I have received no such thing. I received from our lawyer, his reason was section 7(1)(n) of FOIA, which governs the disclosure of records to the public, not my attendance at meetings. It is specifically records relating to a public body's education of employee grievances or disciplinary cases from public release. It does not create an authority to exclude me as an elected official from a meeting. What is happening here is wrong.
You actually don't know what is happening in closed session, and
I
you are
need to
making
know.
assumptions. Well, you don't, actually.
I need to know, I need to sit here, I need to be, I am a member of this board. This is a board issue. No board member can be excluded. So let us conduct this meeting. If you wish me to recuse myself on voting, I am happy to do that.
Can I?
Yes.
I mean, we have been advised by our lawyer
Right,
that
it's a conflict of interest.
Commissioner Root is not permitted to attend closed session,
That's
right?
correct.
I have absolutely no desire to go against the direction of our lawyer. I mean, that's just, to bring this out right now, Colleen, right now, excuse me, I'm speaking, knowing that you can perform and play the victim, and you're asking us to disobey the legal advice of our lawyer.
Do you know
That
when
is
I learned about
outrageous. That's
You know when
outrageous.
I learned about this?
Point of order, everyone gets one chance to
No,
speak.
I will speak.
No,
I learned
point
about
of
this at
order.
4:30
You are
this
finished.
afternoon. No, I
Everyone
am
gets
not
one
finished.
chance to speak,
I am not
and then
finished.
you may get a second chance. That's
I
it.
am not
You need to
finished.
adjourn.
I learned about this at 4:30 PM this afternoon by our board president.
There is a conflict. You are part of the conflict. You cannot be present when we discuss the conflict.
Well,
Period,
again,
full stop. Our attorney has opined.
your attorney seems to have a severe conflict of interest because your attorney represents the district. Obviously, the district includes every member of this board. So
The accusation, it splits this board into two parts. One is you, the other is the board.
once
Right
this
now,
accusation
for this
is
matter,
made,
at the beginning of this consideration, we are split into two sections. You versus the board. That's one conflict. We also have other conflicts that we need to discuss. Those are what Adam has articulated, and those are what Adam has advised us that you should not be
you know
present to
what is
discuss.
disappointing?
This is not the final
What
component
is
of
disappointing?
I'm speaking.
You may
This
speak
is
now,
not the
but-
final component of this analysis or this investigation. This is the first part. And for this part, I believe you must recuse yourself.
I expect a full recording of this entire session, and I want legal counsel to go on record with a written opinion as to why and how I may be excluded, because what you're doing here is very, very wrong. You're conflating an employee HR complaint with something that is a grievance by an employee with an elected official. It is two very different things. So again,
I think
do
your
not
requests
really-
are reasonable. I think your request at
I'm not sure- I'm
Adams
not sure-
Simon's,
at-
that's fine. At Adam Simon's determination, your requests are noted. You would like to hear the recording, that is your request. Number two, you would like to have Adam Simon
Oh, I want a
issue
written
an
opinion
opinion.
on this.
That is a
We
reasonable
can't-
request.
But we can't promise that.
That is a reasonable,
No, we
but
can't.
these are reasonable requests.
Your
They should be-
council needs to
they
go on
should be
record as to
considered.
how he has reached this.
The bottom line, however, for this closed session is you must recuse yourself.
I have agreed to recuse myself.
Thank you.
You must leave the meeting.
Recusing means I do not
No,
vote.
you must
It does not
leave
mean
the
I
You need to
meeting.
leave the meeting, you cannot be
You
present
cannot
for it.
participate.
Well, I guess you're going to have to call Winnetka Police, because I will not willingly leave this meeting.
And just adjourn.
No, I'm not, this has to be done. This has to get done. This is a ridiculous stance.
I don't know, because I heard about this at 4:30 this afternoon from you, President Gibson.
Yes, you did.
That was not notice. I have had
It was,
absolutely
there's no
discussion.
obligation for me to give notice, and I actually tried to call you back to give you a little more clarity, which you didn't return the phone call. I called you twice, okay? So,
Well, golly gee, maybe on September 26th, you should have picked up the phone and sat down with me.
golly
Let's-
gee.
Hey, let's end this. Really, listen. I don't want to have a Winnetka policeman person
No.
come and forcibly remove.
It is shameful that you are
Commissioner
putting us
Root.
in that position.
You know what's shameful? What is shameful here is that there's been no effort.
I'm trying to resolve this. I'm trying to resolve this.
Hear me out.
Despite your terrible
You've
behavior.
done enough talking.
Okay, so we have to bring this meeting to an end.
Okay.
Okay, we are still obviously in open session. Are there any other topics? Well, I think this is the only topic, the only code for closed session. So, we could call Adam.
Yes.
Listen, I am not going to override the legal advice of our lawyer. That, I mean, that's just, we don't do that. We can't do that. So we have to, at least at first, we gotta close this open session. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm making a motion to close open. Is there a second?
Second.
To vote?
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
No.
Commissioner Seaman?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kodo?
Yes.
And Commissioner Gibson.
Yes.
Okay.
That motion passes.
So it is 7:46.
Yes, it is. this time, I'd like to make a motion to go into,
Let's go back into open.
at this time, I'd like to make a motion to go back into open session.
So moved. Second.
So, okay. So,
My glasses.
And then,
Seaman, Kodo.
Yeah. Okay, Commissioner Seaman?
present.
you're, yes.
Oh,
So
yes,
no.
we're voting, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Commissioner Kodo?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
I think, is that everybody?
Me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Gibson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Good. All right. And then, all right, and did we pass the original motion when we were going to go into closed to exclude Colleen Root? Was that passed?
No.
No,
Okay,
there
so-
was discussion
Okay,
following that.
all right. I'd like to make a motion to exclude Colleen Root from closed session as it relates to an item involving her, and it will be a conflict of interest for her to participate in this matter.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner,
I'd like to amend that motion to exclude not only Commissioner Root, but also Executive Director Nizal. Is there a second for my amended motion?
Yes. Seconds. So,
okay, all right, we'll take a roll call vote then. Commissioner Kodo?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Seaman?
Yes.
Commissioner Gibson?
yes.
That motion passes.
Okay. Now I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to 5 Illinois compiled statute 120/2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in park, recreation, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Seaman?
Yes.
Commissioner Kodo?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Gibson?
Yes.
That motion passes.
All right. And we will Yeah. Just one sec. All right. We are now back in regular, in open session at 8:31, and all commissioners present earlier are still in attendance. I'd like to, at this time, make a motion to approve the Park District engaging Michelle Marks as special counsel according to the terms of her engagement letter.
So moved.
Second.
Should we go to roll call? Sure. Discussion? Okay, we'll go to roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Root?
She actually is recused from voting on
Oh,
this.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, Commissioner Seaman?
Well, okay, let's, discussion. I would like to see a copy of the engagement letter and have that made available to me.
Adam? Adam? Commissioner Root has requested a copy of the engagement letter be made available to her.
That's fine.
Okay.
And again, I would formally object to having been excluded from the executive session for the reasons that I stated in my formal statement. Thank you.
Okay. All right, can we go to a roll call vote on this, please?
Commissioner Seaman?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kodo?
Yes.
And Commissioner Root?
Rack.
Oh, excuse me, Rapp.
Yes.
And Gibson? Commissioner
Yes.
Gibson. Okay, that motion passes.
Okay, and then I'd like to make another motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve Ansel Blink to act on behalf of the Park District for any FOIA requests that are made with respect to this matter.
So moved.
Second.
Kodo and Tyson.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kodo?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
No,
Okay, that one goes to...
Gibson.
Okay,
I'm,
Commissioner Gibson?
yes. Okay.
And me.
Yeah, I
I've seen it.
That's okay.
seen it,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I've often been ignored in that.
No.
But I'm voting yes.
Okay, and then at this point, I would like to open discussion by commissioners. I'd like them to keep their comments to 3 minutes, please.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Left at 8:33.
Yes.
We got a very nice shout out from the District 36 Board President Dan Waters, thanking us for our participation in our agreement to convey the parcels with rights of reversion and a trade agreement for use of their gyms. This was the meeting following the grand opening of those new spaces. That's it.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, you may.
Last night's caucus, as the caucus liaison, but sometimes I forget. I thought it was unbelievable how many people were there.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Again, I was a member of the caucus when, well, there were about 40 people there.
Yeah.
Again, 25 of them were on the caucus council. So I thought it was a tremendous turnout. I thought it was very civil. And I think it was a wonderful evening, frankly.
Any other comments? Sure.
I just want to thank staff for having Elder accessible to go and enjoy the sand. I've done that. I've seen other people doing it, so I think that was a very nice thing with the beautiful weather that we've had, the endless summer, so to speak. So I just wanted to acknowledge that at our special meeting in my comments. And then I also wanted to just thank President Gibson for taking on the issue of the e-bikes and the e-scooters and being our public face on that topic while preserving our ability to discuss it as a board in a few weeks. So thank you.
Are you calling me?
Looks like you have your green light on, so I'm thinking you might have something to say.
I just have a closing comment.
Okay.
I find this evening so incredibly disappointing. And my reason for that is this underlying matter, I feel, could have been resolved in a less formal way without the engagement of council at taxpayer expense. It's disappointing that we can't talk. And so I find, again, I find it incredibly disappointing. And then also the fact that as a fellow member of this board, no board member would advise me that this was planned. It's pretty apparent that a number of you knew. We try to be collaborative here, and I have tried very hard to be collaborative. I've been sabotaged on April 24th of 2024. And again, you know, I was working very hard this year for a new start, but I see that as not occurring. And I find that extremely, extremely disappointing, because I really believe that people will sit down and talk to each other. They can work things out. If there are things that bother someone, the other person may not know. Communicate. So on this note, again, I'm asking for a copy of the recording, and then seeking Adam Simon's legal opinion as to why he thought that he had the authority to exclude an elected officer from a meeting in the state, which I don't think he does. So thank you.
We have a legal obligation to act in the manner that we did.
Jeff?
I think, if I remember correctly, it was Commissioner Lusson who said, as far as running the Park District Board, or the Park District itself, the staff can do this without the board, but the board cannot do this without the staff. The staff is a resource that we have to preserve and protect and make sure that they can do their jobs. So I feel good about the action we took today.
And I would like to just say that in receiving a complaint that was set out very clearly, and it's a complaint that's been shared. That has not been a secret, nor was the agenda a secret when it indicated that we were going to be going into closed session for the purposes of hiring an attorney. There really wasn't any more mystery to this. And
May I respond?
I think we're done.
I will respond. I certainly expected that I would be included in that meeting, and had I been, one of the first things I would have asked is, has anyone tried to de-escalate this issue? Have you reached out and tried? Because that's what would have been my first action, is to sit down. I did a lot of collaborative law, I did a lot of mediation, and what I find is if you can get people to sit down at a table with a neutral, you can work things out. And this is what I find so disappointing. And again, yes, you had it on the agenda, but I never in a minute thought that would mean that you would exclude a member of your board. And that's what happened. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:40?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Voice vote?